Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Docker. In our last session, we are done with the overlay networking parts we have finished in our last session. We have seen how we can communicate by using overlay network, how we can create overlay network, and how we can communicate between the container, and how we can access the load balancer. Load balancer also it is automatically using, and little bit about the Docker swarm we have learned, like how to initialize the Docker swarm, what is swarm. We have learned all those just basics of that one we have done in our last session. So in this session we will learn Docker Composer. What is Docker Composer? First see the need of that one, why it is required. Suppose you have to create a container, or you have to create a 5 container, 10 container from the image. Then what is the basic flow of Docker you are following? So the basic flow is, first you will write the Docker file, or else you will create the container on top of some other image. Generally we are preferring to do, because as a developer we should always use Docker file. We should not do any other approach like taking image from that one, and no, we should create from Docker file itself. That is the best recommended way for a developer. So first step, you will write your Docker file. After that one you will build image, and that image from that image you have to create the container. And if you use run command, it will create only single container, one container only it will create. You have to create another container, then you again have to execute Docker run command. And if you want to increase the container, you have to manually stop the container or start the container. And if you want to remove the container, you have to remove the container. So this flow is okay. If there is only one container. But suppose I need to create 100 container. You cannot follow this approach. This workflow not feasible for that type of scenario. You should not do like that. You will waste your time, and you also will get confused which one is stopped, which one is running. Very difficult to manage also. So how can you simplify that one? So that simplification you can do using Docker Composer. Okay, so in Docker Composer what you can do, you just can define one file, YAML file just you have to write, and that YAML file you can use to create the Docker Composer file. The default name is Docker compose.yml. Okay, you can give other name also, but default name is Docker Compose, and extension is YML, yet another markup language. Okay, so in this file what you will define, you have to define version, service. Like in our last session you have seen, instead of creating multiple containers, what we are doing, we are creating service, and that service will create some required number of container, like 5, 10, 50, whatever. That is a service. That is a service. So for that service you can write a file that is nothing but a Docker composer.yml file, and in that file you will define the configuration. So The first step that you have to create one docker compose.yaml file. So let's create that one and we will explore each of the these tags. So the best way to write, you should not use any notepad or notepad plus plus to write this file, because this YAML file is recognizing the content on the basis of indentation. Like this space, indentation is nothing but the space whatever is coming after or before the word. By using that indentation only, it is reading the file. So if you use notepad or notepad plus plus, indentation will be more, one tab space will be more, one space if you give that also space might be more. So you should not use that one. The best approach is you have to use Visual Studio Code. It's open source and free, you can use it in any of the operating system. So open your Visual Studio and create new file. The file name, what should be the file name? The file name is docker compose.yml is the file name. So give that file name, okay. Where you want to create this file? In your workspace, Docker, yes, under Docker, yes, you can create inside Docker itself. So in Docker itself, I am creating docker composer.yaml file. Okay, create it. So this file is there. Now you see that it is already suggesting you want to install a recommended Docker extension, but it's not required. By it will work. Without that also it will work. And you can see here Docker symbol came because this is a Docker file. That's why. Next, you copy the content and paste it here. Copy the content and paste here. That's it. Fine. I think it is not correct one. How can you refactor this one? No refactoring available. Okay, leave it. We'll do it. Manually we'll do it. First is the version. You have to define the version of Docker Composer, like which version you are doing this file. The current version is something 3 point something. Better I am using same only 3.3. You use 3.3 instead of 1. It will give the error otherwise. 3.3. Okay, this is the version. Next, service. You have to create a service. So service name, what is the service? Service name is my web app service. That's it. I want to give this name, my web app service. In this service, what is the image? Image name is my tech hub web app latest, that is image, and the port number. And the port number you are mapping with 5050 with the 5050 you are mapping. Okay. Restart policy, always whenever any problem came, it will restart. Suppose if your container is running, due to some reason your container is down, it's failed. So what it will do, it will create another container. That is nothing but the restart policy. Always restart. Port, it is nothing but the port mapping. Port you want to map. Image, from which image you want to create the container, and this is the service name. The service we have seen in our last session also, the same service it will create. Okay. Restart policy and network volume, and this is the volume. Okay, and volume is this one. That's it. So for this service, the service name is this one. Under the service, what is the image, what is the port, everything we are defining here. And this volume has to be defined. My logs volume, this is the volume. That volume has to be defined here. We have seen what is the use of volume, so it will create this volume automatically. So this is nothing but your Docker file, your Docker compose file, Docker composer file. That's it. Okay, So we have done with the file. Next, you need to install Docker Composer and Docker Composer on your EC2 instance or in your local machine. Suppose if I am trying in my local machine, can I try in my local machine now? Yes, you can do. You can do in your local machine also. And if you want to try on EC2, you can try. Why I am not trying in EC2? Can you tell me why I am not trying in EC2? Because if you do in EC2, it doesn't make any sense, because Docker Composer is only for single host. In single host only it will work. It will not work on cluster. For cluster we have some other approach. So if it is working in single machine, then I can go with my local machine, because in my local machine also Docker is there. So can I go with this one, or shall I do in EC2 instance? Okay, I will prefer what I will think. I will prefer to do in local, because it doesn't make any difference. Okay, fine. So in that case, what I need to do, I need to install Docker Compose also. In my local machine, I need to install Docker Compose also. Go and install it. Okay, it is installing. Okay, Docker Composer is installed now in my local machine. Fine. Next, how many files are there? Okay, currently I think there is no file. So do one thing, open the file in Docker workspace. Open here, because here our Docker Composer file is there. You delete it, not required. Docker file itself is not required currently. Later if we need, then we will create it. Open terminal, ls. So docker compose.yaml file is there now. The YAML file is there, and if you see Docker image, dock images, how many images are there? There is only one image, that is Oracle database. It's another one, you leave it. Our Docker, our image, whatever we have specified here, my web app latest tech edu hub, my web app latest, this image is not there. Okay, and restart policy means always it will restart whenever any error comes in the container and container shut down, automatically it will restart. It will start new container. That is the restart policy. Network mode, bridge network it will use by default. If you don't specify network mode, it means it will use bridge network. Default is bridge only, but I am specifying to be more convenient, so that you will understand the each component of the file. Volume, if you want to specify the volume, you can specify the volume here. Okay, and if you want to use some other network, then you have to define that network here. Network tab, network, and the name of network, like my network, something simple, my network. So this my network now you have to define here, but it's not required, just you understand like that. That's it. We'll do that one after checking this one. We will try that also. Okay, and this is the volume. That volume it will use this container. The container will use this volume. Okay, so this is fine. Our Docker Composer file is ready. Okay, next, after installing, copy the Docker Composer file to EC2. We are not doing on EC2. If we have to do in EC2, then you have to copy the file. You have to copy the file from your local computer to your EC2 instance, or else you have to create EC2 the file on EC2 instance directly. Whatever you want to prefer, you can prefer, but creating the file on directly on the EC2 is very difficult. Through the command lines you have to do, and it is a YAML file. You definitely will do some error, tab space or all will not be correct in that case. So it is better to do the file in your local. First create file in your local system and copy that file to EC2 instance, but we are not using EC2, we are doing in our local machine, so it is not required. Next, docker composer up, that's it. This is the command that has to be used. This is the command that has to be used. And suppose here, now we might get the following error. Why? You are using the wrong composer file version. The version what I was using before 1.0, I changed this one. If you use 1.0, you will get the similar error you will get. You try this one, but I'm not doing that one. You just simply give the correct version and it will work. Copy it and go and paste here. Now you see what it is doing. Docker composer file, so one volume is there, it is creating the volume with the default driver also it is using. Which driver? Network driver, the default network driver it is using. Then it is pulling image from where? From tech hub, my web app latest. It is pulling the image also. After pulling image, some layer are already exist in local, and it is downloaded the image successfully. So downloaded new image, this image is downloaded. Then creating docker my web app 10 container done. Container is also done. Now how many containers are there? Check. How many containers are there? One container is there, that is up and running. Now you see how easy it is. Do you need to specify the container name, port number, volume, network? No, you no need to specify anything. Just you have to give docker compose d up, that's it. D docker compose up means start docker compose. Docker compose up means start docker compose. D stands for directory. In which directory docker compose file is there? In current directory. So you don't need to specify that path of directory also. Automatically it will look for the docker compose.yaml file. So docker compose.yaml file is there in this directory, so it is created. Now you open your browser and go with the EC2 is not required, so close this tab. Now go for localhost 5050. Yes, it is running, and this is the IP address. This is the IP address of the container. And what is the container ID? What is the container ID or name? 89F2031129129ADF. Same? Is it same? Yes, it must be same. You can see here, say same 89F. It's same. Check here, it is same. You can match it. And the IP address also you can see. How can you see the IP address? You can inspect this, or else you inspect that network. Which network? Bridge network. Docker network inspect bridge. You see here one container is there, and that container has IP address 172.20.12.16. That's it. Simply you can create from the whatever the specification for your container you have given, it will use that only. Now I will go and modify the network. Okay, so what I will do, I will modify this one. So before to that one, you can manage this docker compose file also. How will you do it? See, docker compose up, it will up. Then docker compose up and scale. Yes, this is important. Now you can scale also. How can you scale it? Scale means what? You have to increase the number of instances. You have to increase the number of container. You can say like that. Either you can say I want to increase the number of instances of my application, or I want to create more containers. Same, because one container, one application is running. That is meaning of scale. Okay, so how will you do it? up and scale, up and scale. Copy this and come here and clear it. And next, what is the name of service? What is the name of service to scale? My web app service. What name you have given? My web app service. Copy it, copy the name and scale it, is equals to 5. See what happened. Cannot start driver failed program externally connected endpoint 3 port is already allocated, failed port is already allocated. What happened? The port is already allocated, but it generally it should work. DOCK Docker PSA. Okay, why it is not happening, I will tell. First what I will do, I will down this one. Down means remove the container, whatever is binded with this one, remove that container. How you will do it? How will you do it? Simply docker compose down, that's it. Docker compose up, docker compose down, that's it. So I am doing this docker compose down. So all are down. Now see, there is no container now. Even though this container is scaled from this one, this is not running, but it will remove all these containers. See, it's removed, all containers are removed, and even your application is not there now. Okay, fine. Now what I will do, I will update this file. I'll update this file. How? You should not use this port here, because the port will automatically assign. In case of scaling, it will automatically assign. Okay, you should not do it. Next, bridge. I want to use my network. I want to use my own network. How can I do it? Network, you have to define network, and the network name is my network. That's it, my network. For that network, what is the subnet and what is the gateway? You can define. Subnet is 50.40.0.016. This is the subnet. And what is the gateway? The gateway is, gateway IP address will be 50.40.0.1. Correct one, or we are making any mistake here? Let's see, let's cross verify. Anyway, this is not there, but definitely we have defined it in some other one. We will see it. Not here. Not there. Okay. Okay, don't worry, I'll try it. So subnet, this is subnet and this is gateway. Subnet and gateway. Okay, try this one, my network. Instead of bridge network, try my network. That's it. Volume, that is okay. Volume you have defined, network you have defined, my network, and that's it. 5050 is the port. That port will be mapped dynamically because we have to scale. Otherwise, it will try to bind with the same IP, same port number, and you cannot do that one. That's why you should not give the port. Automatically it will do, because there is inside that one load balancing is there. Load balancing concept is there, so you should not do it. Okay. Next. Okay, this is fine. Now try the same command. Docker compose up. Docker compose up, not scale. Docker compose up. Oh, okay. Docker compose file is invalid. Network does not match any of the regular expressions. some problem is there, I think. There is no container. Okay, I think we have not given the correct format. I think subnet, network name is okay, subnet and gateway is there. Let's try. No. You might see this error, either version is different or place the definitions key. Okay, I think we need to specify some more details along with that. It will not work. Network is there, then you have to define the network driver also. Okay, driver is bridge. Okay, driver is bridge. Then I think you need to config. In this config there is a subnet. Okay, there is subnet and gateway, and the network is my network, that is okay. Now let's try. No, still it is not working. So do this space and see. Some other error is there. It is okay. Config driver is bridge is okay. YAML scan mapping value are not allowed here. Line number 14, 19, 14. Okay, like that you are saying, but it will not work like that. No. If you remove it here, do like that. No, some problem is there. Okay, so you can define like that. Yeah, my network, this is your network, and that network you can define name, config, even if you want to define driver also. Driver is BRIDGE, bridge. Driver is bridge. And config, even this name is not required, I think you can name, it will take from that one only. Okay, now see, it will not use, see what it is telling. Some network were defined but not used by any service. Since we are defining this network, and we are using, but it will not allow. Composer will always use the default one. Docker compose will use the default one, so you cannot do that one. Okay, so leave it, you cannot do it, fine. And here give bridge. Okay, now run. Okay, creating, and one service is up. Docker ps, yes, one service is up. And now if you refresh it, the IP address will be this one, because this IP address is automatically assigned. You are not going to assign it. See, now I want to scale it. Simply you can scale it however you want. Docker composer up scale, then service name. Okay, so come here, and so what is the name of service? The name of service is my web app service. Copy that name, scale my web app service is equals to 5. Now what it will do, see, it is creating 5 and 5s are running. See successfully running. You can observe it here. Okay, what happened? Okay, I think we have to run in detached mode in that case. Okay, open another tab and see docker ps. How many are there? See, total 5. Total 5 are there now. You see, it is scaling to 5. Total 5. If I say docker, where is that? Anyway, it is in detached. It's not running in detached mode. I think we need to do in detached mode. D stands for detached. I think we have not given that detached, that's why. Okay, copy it, where is that? Control Z, do Control Z and clear it. So docker ps, here, docker ps, how many are there? Okay, all are stopped. I think it is, it's not there. What happened? Why it is? I think it is down. I think intention. I think by mistake we have executed that command. Okay, do it again. Docker up, docker compose up in detached mode. Do it. So one it will create, or how many? Previously how many were there? That many it will create. Docker ps. You see. Okay, the previous it is removed and one is there. Now you want to scale it, so scale them to 5 or 10 or whatever. Copy this and do in detached mode. Docker do in detached mode, up d scale, and that service name is my web app service, and copy that and come here, paste here, and is equals to give 6. So total 6 it will do total 6. Now if you do docker ps, how many are there? Total 6 are there. And IP address, it is doing like similar, like 177, 178. If you see 178 is there, take the one IP address, okay, this is the one IP address that I am taking. Copy it and run it. Okay, it is there. 8, it's also there. 9 also there. 9 is not there, what is the IP address? Okay, 4 is there. 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is there. Start from 3. So 3, it is there. Yes, it's there. 4 is there. 5 is there. Yes, so these many are running. 6 is there. 7 is there. Okay, each one has a different IP address and different name of the host. So it is there. Like if I want to scale it down, how can I do it? Very simple. Scale to 2, that's it. Now it will be 2. Remaining it will be removing, that's it. It's removing. 4 removed. 4 are removed, only 2 are there now. So scale up, scale down, you can do very easily. And creating a service is so easy. Just you need to define your service in docker compose.yaml file. From that one simply you can do. Then simply just you scale docker compose up, detached, scale it. If you want to scale to 2, scale to 3, scale to 1. If you want to scale to 1, you can do it. Give it here 1. 1 will be 1, it will be removing, only 1 is there, you see, only 1. And if you want to do scale to 10, 9 more container it will start. See, It's creating, done, it is telling, it's creating. But there is no load balancer. Load balancer is not there. See, 10 are there from 3, like these are the IP address. It's very difficult to remember IP address. That's why load balancer is introduced in SWAM. In Docker SWAM, load balancer is introduced. You can use that one. Okay, that we will see in our next session. And if you want to remove this Docker, then you can use simply Docker compose down. That's it. Docker compose down. Copy it and just paste. That's it. All container will be removed. You see. So Docker compose down. So all containers are down. There is no container at all, and you can not access the application now. That's it. So this is all about the Docker compose. One more command is there. We have not done it. You do it by your own this practice. Docker compose build. What it will do? This will first create the image from the file, Docker file. Instead of this one, you can specify here Docker file also, and instead of this image you can specify Docker file also. Docker file, from that Docker file first it will create the image, then create the service. Under the service it will create the containers. You can do that one also. Simple command. You try this one. If you want to use other file name rather than the default file name, then how can you do? Very simple. Docker compose F stands for file. Then you have to give the file path, then up and detached. That's it. Down, if you want to down, then you have to tell the file name. Build, you have to give the file name. You can do that one. Okay. And what is the limitations so far you have seen? The one limitation, Docker compose is a single host command, single host only. You cannot do this in cluster. It is a single host. And another limitation is there is a no load balancer. You have to manually use appropriate port number. It will automatically assign, and if you want to access the particular port number, then you have to manually go to that port number, because there is a no load balancer. If load balancer is there, then it will redirect to the one port, and from that one load balancing will happen automatically. Whether it is a 10 container or 1 container, doesn't matter in load balancer. But in case of Docker compose, the load balancer is not there. You have to manually hit the request. Okay, so these two are the limitation for Docker compose. Okay, so in our next lab, in our next session, we will learn about Docker SWAM. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day.